Good morning, all you beautiful people out there. Well, morning for me. This is the absolutely gorgeous view that I get to see every day. Ah, Colorado. You're so pretty. Hey guys, welcome back to Tony the T-Man's channel. So, sorry I clear my throat a lot. This morning I wanted to talk about, sorry, it's real chilly, so I know you can see my breath. But this morning I wanted to talk about fluctuating dysphoria. And the reason I want to talk about this is because I think there is a certain amount of dysphoria that can fluctuate for you, and that doesn't make you less trans or more trans or anything like that. It's just something that happens. And for me, it's been that I grew up in a really Christian family, and my family was not accepting of anything other than the norms, so anything that was different was bad, and it was shunned upon, and we weren't supposed to do it. So I initially came out as a lesbian, and both my parents disowned me, and it took a really long time for my mom to come around, but 5 or 6 years later she did come around, and it took about 3 years or so for her to really get comfortable with me being a lesbian, and then I came out as trans, and it's been about a year of that, and well, actually 2 years, yeah, wow. But since then, she has become more accepting, and she doesn't call me the right pronouns or the right name, but she doesn't treat me differently. I'm still her kid. She still loves me. She still protects me and supports me, and she wants the best for me. So to say that we've come all the way from her literally saying that she hopes next Mother's Day I go to the grave to find, a mom to put flowers down for because she was dead to me, to where now she meets my girlfriends and wants to know if they're being good to me, and, wants to make sure that I'm happy. So me and my mom have come a really long way, but me and my dad, ever since I came out as a lesbian, he hasn't really accepted me back into his life, and that's fine. I'm not bothered by that, only because my dad wasn't really there for me as a kid, so it's not a big deal. But main point being that I grew up in a place where it wasn't okay to be anything other than different, and when I finally did come out fully all the way, I didn't have any dysphoria. And I think a big part of that was was the fact that I had to basically accept the fact that I was who I was, and I wasn't going to do anything about that because I didn't want to push my family away. My family means more to me than anything, and I didn't want to lose them because of how I felt about my body and how I felt about people seeing me as a female. And it eventually came down to the fact that I couldn't handle looking at myself in the mirror anymore, and that's what made me have to transition. Was just I couldn't handle being a female anymore. I couldn't pretend like I was okay with it anymore. And it wasn't until I started taking tea that I started having dysphoria. About 3 months into taking tea, when my beard started coming in, yeah, at 3 months, I'm Hispanic. It's insane. But at 3 months, when my beard started coming in, I started having really, really intense top dysphoria. And I had my binder, but it wasn't enough anymore. I needed top surgery. I needed to find somebody to do top surgery on me as soon as possible within the next couple months. And when I went to go look into top surgery, it ended up not being able to be doable right now, which really sucks. But it's something that I started struggling with after I started taking tea, not before. And something that I actually remembered was that there was these times in my life where if I wore something really feminine, or if I was naked and there were men around, like if I was in the shower and there were men over at my house and I heard their voice, it would make me feel really naked and vulnerable and just gross, and I hated it. It was the worst feeling in the world. And at the time, I thought it was PTSD, but now I'm realizing that it was actually dysphoria that I was feeling. So, for me to say that I didn't have dysphoria until after I started to is kind of a lie. But in reality, like, I didn't realize that I was experiencing dysphoria. It was just this really, really uncomfortable feeling. I didn't know what it was, and I hadn't really delved into what being trans was, so I didn't know what it was like to feel disconnected from your body, and now I do know, and now to look back and to remember that is kind of scary, but at the same time, like, I'm so relieved that I took the chance to take tea without realizing that that was dysphoria, because now I'm in a much, much better place. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that my dysphoria is all good and all better. I still have very bad top dysphoria, and hopefully I'll be able to get top surgery next year. But I'm struggling really hard with feeling okay, in my body, and I had to start getting Packers and STPs because I just wasn't okay with my bottom dysphoria anymore. And it fluctuates in the way that, some days I don't have to wear my binder. Like, if I'm at home all day, I don't have to work, I won't put my binder on. And that's not necessarily something that I do just because I don't have dysphoria that day, but also just because it's like comfortable. Um, and then there's some days where, like, I won't use my STP at all, and there's other days where I sleep with it on. It just depends. And having that fluctuation doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. That doesn't mean that you're not trans enough. It means that you've coped with this body for a long time, and some days you're better at coping with it and some days you aren't, and you gotta take that in stride, and accept that it's okay. It's okay to have bad days, and it's okay to have good days. And you know not everything about being trans is singular. There's so many YouTubers on YouTube who have so many different experiences, and I definitely recommend checking out every single one you can, because everyone's experience is different. And while you might look at 12 different experiences, your experience could still be completely unique to you. You could have nothing in common with any of those 12 people. You just have to, realize that we're not giving you a play by play. We're giving you a general idea of what might happen. And I just want you guys to realize that it's okay. It's okay to not be just like every other trans person. It's okay to not feel like every other trans person. It's okay to sometimes have, that real bad dysphoria day, and then for a week have a great week. It's fine. You are who you are, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, man, I'm so glad I get to share my experience and my knowledge with other people, and be able to help out people, and just be here, because you know you start to feel really alone when you're doing this, and I don't want anyone to feel as alone as I did when I started. So, all right, guys. Well, I love you so much, and I hope this video helps out. Please leave any comments of videos you want me to make, and I will make sure to make them. If y'all haven't noticed, I'm trying to make all my videos under 10 minutes long, because I hate watching videos longer than 10 minutes. All right, guys. See you later.